Hello, welcome back to my channel and to today's video where I am going to be sharing 5 relatively practical tips to bear in mind when it comes to your winter outfits. So, tip number 1 is don't forget thermals. Now, this is probably going to seem like the most obvious tip to those of you who are regular thermals wearers, but if you don't own a pair of thermals, I cannot stress enough how vital they will be to your winter wardrobe. Now, there are lots of different options available these days, but my personal preference are Uniqlo's Heat Tech. So I've been wearing Heat Tech now during winter for around about the last 5 years, and I actually made a more thorough video all focused around Uniqlo's entire women's Heat Tech collection, which I will leave a link to down below in the description box if you want to hear more, because there's different types, different warmth levels, so I go into more depth in that video. But basically, a pair of thermals can be worn under pretty much any outfit, which then means that you don't have to limit yourself to just bulky winter clothing. The thermals act as your base, and then you can build your outfit using what you've already got in your wardrobe on top of those thermals, and you will stay warm without having to sacrifice, let's say, your personal style. Now, these particular thermals, and to be honest, many other thermals, are quite thin. That doesn't mean that they're not effective, but it is a pro in terms of the fact that if you feel like you're getting too hot wearing them, you can take them off and then just pop them in your bag. So they fold up really small, and I've just done a really quick shoddy job of rolling that into like a large sausage roll, but they are quite compact, so easy to fit in your bag. If you like to take a smaller bag, just sort of bear that in mind. But that's a point that I'm going to get to a little bit later. But yes, thermals, they will be the hardest working piece within your winter wardrobe. Which leads me on to my next tip, and that is clever hosiery. Now, admittedly, I am not really a wearer of dresses and skirts come the winter season. They're not a big part of my personal style, but also warmth has always been a concern of mine. But there are now some amazing options when it comes to hosiery for winter. So this first pair of tights that I have to share with you guys, I featured in a few of my videos recently, and they are fleecy lined. And oh my gosh, is this soft. So soft. So cozy. Now, the cool thing about these tights is that they give the illusion of looking like sheer tights, because the fleece inside is a sort of skin colour, and they do come in various different skin tones, kind of like foundation or just normal skin coloured tights. And so they give that effect of looking like you've got bare legs underneath whilst keeping you roasty and toasty. Now, these may well come in handy for party season, when perhaps it would be the time of year where you would lean more towards a sheer pair of tights versus an opaque pair of tights. And then going back to Uniqlo's Heat Tech range, here I just have a basic pair of opaque tights. Good for day to day, perhaps good if you have daughters at secondary school age, and like I mentioned earlier, their legs are getting a bit chilly if they have to wear skirts as part of their uniform, because these are again fleecy lined. So if skirts and dresses are maybe just a big part of your personal style, or perhaps you have to wear them as part of a uniform, both of these pairs of tights, and there's lots of others out there available as well, will keep you warm without having to sacrifice your style. Tip number 3 is utilising your jewellery. So I think by now I don't need to tell you guys that jewellery can have a huge impact on an outfit. It can really transform the look of an outfit, especially if, like me, you are a fan of very basic pieces. It can just, dare I say, elevate the whole look. Now, this is kind of key when it comes to winter outfits, because winter outfits can be more covered, a little bit more boxy, thicker, there's lots of high neck knits. So I make sure that I utilise my time selecting my jewellery pieces for my day-to-day outfits for areas that are actually visible and that will make an impact on that outfit. So earrings are a prime example of that for me personally. I rarely leave the house without my earrings in. Truth be told, I feel a little bit naked without a pair of hoops because I am a hoops girl. Even when I'm just working in the kitchen, working from home, I've got my sweats on, I will always have my hoops in. And Monica Vinader is my go-to jewellery brand, and they have got a very strong selection of hoops of all different kinds, different shapes, different sizes, from huggies to larger ones. And to be honest, all of which I probably own by this point. Now, I myself, as many of you will already know, am a gold girl. So I opt for their 18 karat gold vermeil, which by the way is 100% recycled. But maybe you're into your cooler tones, in which case a lot of their styles are also available in sterling silver, which is also 100% recycled. Now, we are coming up to the festive season. No, wait. We are in the festive season. It's already here. It's happening. Parties and gatherings, they're upon us. So if you find yourself looking for some jewellery to accessorise your festive season outfits, whether that be for said parties and gatherings, or if you are just a complete hermit like me that wants to wear a nice fancy pair of earrings just while you're watching Netflix, then I would highly recommend checking out Monica Vinader. Not only are their metals recycled, but so is their packaging, made from recycled materials and then recyclable in itself if you choose not to keep it. Their gemstones, diamonds and pearls are all ethically sourced and this is my favourite thing about Monica Vinader, they offer a repair and rewear programme to prolong the life of your pieces. And with all those points in mind, they'd also make a really thoughtful gift. Plus, there's a complimentary engraving service on select pieces and there's loads of fonts, motifs, emojis even. You can even engrave your own doodles and handwriting so that you can create something really personal and also quite unique. On to tip number 4, and I wish that I could have told myself this tip many, many, many times. Now, it's a given that we will all wear additional accessories come the winter season. Cold weather accessories. We're talking hats, gloves, scarves and snoods. And how many times have you had those on but then got on a train, either to or from work or a bus, gone to the theatre, pub, restaurant, wherever it may be, and lost one or multiple of those accessories because you've taken them off and you've just misplaced them or forgot to take them with you? I know it's happened to me so many times, and I tell you what the most annoying thing is, and it's when you lose one glove. It's like losing a sock in the washing machine, and it's like, where do they go? Well, I know where it goes when I lose a glove. I've just left it wherever I've been. But then I've just got one single glove. What am I going to do with one glove? It's pointless. So my practical tip would be to take a slightly larger bag out with you. It doesn't have to be massive, doesn't have to be a huge tote bag, but something that you could fit in your gloves and or hat and or scarf or snood. I don't always, when I take my accessories off, especially if I'm travelling on public transport, like on the train or whatever, getting off and then getting on the tube or wherever you may live, another form of transport, I wouldn't always go and put my accessories back on, which I think is why I would forget them. However, I never ever forget my bag because my phone is always in my bag. And I never ever forget my phone. So if you've got a bigger bag, you can pop all your accessories in there and then you will never lose them. And on to my final tip, which is to size up in your boots. Now this tip may have come a little bit late if you've already got boots within your wardrobe. And I actually realised this tip by accident. So I've got a size 7.5 foot, which for any of you guys out there who have got a half size, you will know that when it comes to high street footwear, it's slightly problematic, especially when said footwear is closed either end. With sandals, it's a little bit easier, but with things like boots, it can be a bit tricky. So in my younger years, as many mistakes were made, one of which was that I decided to size down to the nearest hole size when I was buying boots. More often than not, I'd be buying said boots ahead of the winter season, so I wouldn't always have thick socks on. I'd try them on and I'd think, maybe they fit a little bit snug, but the larger size always felt ginormous. However, as I got older and much wiser, believe it or not, I came to realise that actually what I needed to do was go for the larger size and pad them out with thicker socks, or a sheepskin insole. Because when it gets colder, our bodies have to work harder to keep blood circulating to our vital organs in order to keep them warm. So by keeping your extremities warm, feet with socks and or sheepskin insoles and hands with gloves, you're actually aiding circulation and regulating your body's temperature. It's all very scientific, I know, but sizing up in your boots to allow for sheepskin insoles and thicker socks also means that you are not limited to wearing, shall we say, just the more practical winter footwear like sheepskin, Ugg boots, snow boots, all that kind of thing. Now you can actually wear maybe a nicer pair of boots, a smarter pair, if you need something a little bit smarter and more elevated for work, if you want a dressier pair for going out in an evening for all of these festive shenanigans we've got coming up. You can do that because you've got the space to allow for all of these, I suppose, thermal foot layers. Right, I'm sure you were all exhausted from absorbing all of this wisdom. I'm just overflowing with wisdom these days. So all that is left for me to say is Merry Christmas, I suppose, because as I've said, we're in it. We're in the festive season. So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.